Hi, it's Mel here, and I'm bringing you the last of my diet myth busting videos today. But it is not the end of the road, because I hear that you love these videos, and because there's so much that I haven't talked about yet, I'm going to continue them on a weekly basis. Okay, so I'll keep you posted on that. But today I want to talk to you about fasting, because it's hugely popular now. It's also considered to be, a new lifestyle, a sustainable way of eating and living, not only in terms of helping with weight management, but also in terms of protecting and looking after our long-term health. So the health benefits of fasting have included things like improved blood sugar regulation, which also means increased sensitivity to insulin, which might help prevent type 2 diabetes, better blood pressure regulation and protecting against heart disease. It may have anti-inflammatory benefits or effects, as well as maybe helping with weight loss and boosting brain function and that sort of thing. And basically we know about these effects because we have studied populations, quite ancient populations in the Far East of the world, where because their diet was restricted through food availability, we recognise that they were actually living longer. Now we can't necessarily just automatically assume that a restricted diet means that you're going to be healthier, because of course it depends on what you're eating, and this can be the challenge. I think some of the limitations around fasting, that we assume it's a healthier way of eating, but actually can we really stick to it, and are we really embracing what the fasting diet is really meant to be about? So if we look at different types of fasting, the most simple, easiest one to begin with would be considered to be a 24-hour fast. So what this does then is it encompasses the time you go to bed. So if you're not awake during that fasting period, it makes it much easier. So the idea being, let's say you had your evening meal at 7 o'clock at night, you get through your evening, go to bed, get up in the morning and wouldn't have breakfast until 7 o'clock in the morning. So the science says you need a 12-hour sort of window or period of time to help sort of almost, people talk about kick-starting your body in terms of increasing fat oxidation, changing your metabolic rate and things like that, but you need 12 hours in order to instill that to start to happen. Now there are also lots of variations on the 12-hour fast. So one that's really popular that's just emerged at the moment is the 18-6. So it's an extension of the 12-hour fast. You fast for 18 hours. So let's say, again, you have your evening meal at 7, but then you'd go all the way through to the following morning for 16 hours, which means that you wouldn't have your breakfast, as it were, until very late morning, if not lunchtime. Now, lots of people claim that they feel really good when they fast, that actually their energy levels are much greater. They feel alert, really focused, they can concentrate, and they feel really well on it. But some people, not surprisingly, don't really function very well without food for that length of time. And I am in that camp. I definitely couldn't do the things that I need to do physically or mentally in my day without fueling my body much more regularly. Another type of fast is probably one that's gathered a lot of momentum over the years, is the 5-2. So Dr. Michael Mosley on the TV has sort of endorsed this diet and also promoted lots of little mini variations and mini fasting ideas on it as well. This is not a complete abstinence of food during the 2 days, but the idea is that for 2 days of the week you have a restricted diet. So it's around about 600 calories for women, 800 calories for men. And then on the remaining 5 days, the idea is that you eat normally. You go back towards a typical, healthy, well-balanced diet. Now, the challenge with, let's say, the 5-2 is that if you get through your days on restricted energy intake, it's whether or not you're able to function and do that without feeling unwell at the end of the day. But when your body is restricted in terms of energy, it often kicks into place mechanisms that are actually going to help you try and get back on track. So if you cut right back on what you've eaten for 2 days, it's quite likely you're going to feel very hungry on the subsequent 2 days after your fasting days. So there is pressure to stick to a healthy diet without overdoing it, and what's probably happening is your brain will be triggering you to go to high calorie foods, and there is a tendency for overeating or binge style eating on your non-fasting days, even if it's that whole thing in your head where you're going, yeah, I've done it, I've done the 2 days, and then you're like, right, don't need to do it anymore, and then you let your hair down and let it all go. So sticking to this plan in theory sounds very doable, but the reality is that for many is that they can't do it. So if you've tried fasting and it's worked for you, great, but don't beat yourself up if you have tried it and you can't do it, because it may not be the be all and end for you. And as I say, it's actually what you're choosing to put into your body, not just the frequency and timings of which you're doing it. So I hope that's helped a little bit, and I shall see you next time, guys. Thank you very much for watching.